We're live.
Hello, we're Team 4, and that consists of me. I'm Ava, Austin, Chris, Lauren, and Sam. And today we did our case project on Skull Candy.
All right. I'm going to introduce Skull Candy. For those of you that, whether you do know or not, Skull Candy Headphones was born and started in Park City, Utah, just up the canyon in 2003. Their headquarters are still there. And the magician behind Skull Candy is a man named Rick Alden, very successful entrepreneur and CEO. Something actually interesting about Rick Alden is he also is another co-founder of a company called Stance Socks, as a side note. But Alden grew up back in Massachusetts and was first started skiing in 1970. And we'll get more into the details of how Skull Candy started, but basically bounced around and ended up graduating from University of Colorado, Denver, with Bachelor's of Arts in Political Science. And as far as opportunity space goes with Skull Candy, upon starting Skull Candy in 2003, their first product was known as the Portable Link, which was actually their first product that they won for Design and Innovation Award at the Customer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, the CES show. And fast forward several years later, and it's easy to understand why Skull Candy is doing so well. Their business, as of 2007, hit 37.5 million in sales, and at the time, Inc. magazine had quoted CNN Money reporting sales of approaching $100 million. So growing very rapidly after a few first years that were pretty rocky for them. But once they got a few things down, dealing with quality, customer service, and performance of their products, they kept growing and did really, really well. And we'll get more into that in just a bit. But on another note, besides their amazing products and headphones, Skull Candy does something really great that not a whole lot of other companies talk about too much, which is giving back. Skull Candy Headphones was conceived and inspired by the community where it's headquartered in, which is in Park City, and so they basically give back to their community, to several different charity organizations, and you have the ability to choose upon ordering, if you order directly from Skull Candy on their website. So that's something pretty cool about them. They donate 10% to local state charities found on their website to try and make a difference. So they love to give back, which is something really great.
All right. Moving on to value and use. As Sam mentioned, Skull Candy was started by Rick Alden. It was born out of a difficulty he was having while skiing in Utah. Rick Alden was listening to music on his cell phone while on a ski lift in Park City, and he got a phone call, and he had to unplug his headphones from his phone and then plug in an earbud in order to take the phone call. He was very frustrated with the situation at this point because he was having a hard time doing that with gloves on, and decided that there needed to be a new product that combined headphones and earbuds. Now, well, hands-free earbuds, which became the Skull Candy Portable Link headphones. They were the first headphones that had a nice little dongle on the headphones that would allow you to change the volume and answer or hang up on phone calls. And this is something that's very commonplace today, but back in 2002, this was a very amazing and very revolutionary idea, because up to that point, everything was separate. You had headphones that were just headphones and nothing else. And then you would have a little earbud that you could take a phone call, and it had the dongle to answer a phone call on it. On top of that, Skullcandy would later branch out into making headphones interesting, not just your plain black, or as Apple would later come out with a plain white. They would make them with all kinds of different colors and all kinds of different designs that were a lot more fun and a lot more enjoyable than plain. Skullcandy's primary value and use is very commonplace nowadays. Consequently, they've had a lot of ups and downs just trying to make a plain headphone. Beats later came onto the scene and just about did Skullcandy in, because they provided a better quality headphone than what Skullcandy was providing. Now Skullcandy has been able to get back on track, get their business going by providing more interesting, more tailored to a specific audience type of headphone, as well as better quality headphones. And that leads us into our next value.
Okay, thank you. So the value exchange, kind of like Chris mentioned a little bit, most customers to begin with were very pleased with what they were using. Skullcandy has a good exchange policy for if, say you put your headphones through the wash or whatever, they'll cover up to 50% of replacing it, or if it's anything to do with manufacturing, then they'll replace it 100% covered. And so Skullcandy has just done a good job at making their product what the customers want. Again, as mentioned, whether that was changing the style of it or the colors or different products. I know when I was little, I just knew the name Skullcandy, and I wanted those headphones is because that's what everyone else had at the time. But yeah, I think just in general, Skullcandy has done a really good job at making the product to fit the customer's needs, and they have their different bud earphones, the over the ears, just different styles and colors as to what they want, because then guys and girls can have them. Because I know a lot of times when you're a girl, especially when you're younger, you're not going to want maybe the blues or the greens, but you want all the pinks and everything. So yeah, I think they've done a good job with the service for their customers.
Okay, so talking about value distribution, you can pretty much get Skullcandy headphones anywhere. That's not how it used to be. Rick Alden actually put a lot of work and time into getting headphones used and seen. He went to different ski and snowboard shops and told them that they need to buy his headphones and sell them there. And all the shops didn't take to the idea at first, so it took a lot of convincing, and eventually he convinced them, and they started selling his headphones and got really good feedback and reviews on them. So Skullcandy is sold over 80 countries worldwide, and they're also sold on their website, so they're very easily accessible, and you can buy them anywhere. So their distribution is great.
All right, I guess finance is next. They've seen their fair share of highs and lows throughout their career. They started out 2003. Early history wasn't very accessible, other than that they sold just a couple $1 million in sales total. Then in 2011, they went public. They had their IPO and made $188 million, which was surprising to them. They were selling shares at about $20 a share and sold 1.5 million more than they anticipated, which was pretty incredible for them. And then 2012 was their peak year. They saw 297.5 million in total sales. Then 2013 they fell off because of Beats Audio and almost had to close down operations. They didn't know what was going to happen. They only had 210 million total sales. And then 14 they started to rise, and 15 they haven't released it yet, just because the year's not over. So they are back on the rise, and it'll be interesting to see how they shake out.
Cool. So, talking about their value and fitness of the company, as Austin was saying that Skullcandy did have a downfall in 2013 with Dr. Dre's Beats coming out. They did bounce back, and Skullcandy is a preferred partner with Apple, so they're continuing to work with Apple and on innovating and coming out with new things, and they're always on top of the technology part. And the thing about Skullcandy is they have everything. They have, you can custom make some. They have them for boys and girls, and they're just always trying to fit their users' needs. And so with their value and fitness, they're always on top of that and trying to find what their users' wants are.
Exactly. And something important that goes along with value and fitness for Lauren's section is their motto, which is one of the best mottos I think a company can have, which is, by quoting them, they say, "We have to be the best version of our own customer," which says a lot about who Skullcandy is if you've ever owned a pair of their headphones or one of their products. But just to wrap up, as far as governance goes, Rick Alden is actually the grandson of Rosemarie Reed, who's recognized as a famous woman during the 40s, 50s. And in 1955, actually, Reed was an American swimsuit designer and named Designer of the Year by Sports Illustrated and Women of the Year by Time Magazine. And so comes from a background of successful family members and extended family members, and he's actually a current resident of Park City, Utah right now with his wife and 4 children. And the board of directors of Skullcandy sets high standards for the company's employees, officers, and directors. They have an implicit philosophy in the importance of sound corporate governance. It's their duty as a board of directors to serve as a prudent fiduciary for shareholders and to oversee the management of the company's business. So to fulfill its responsibilities and discharge its duty, the board of directors follows certain procedures and standards that are set forth in these guidelines to be able to bring this to pass. And so that wraps up Skullcandy headphones.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Anything else?
That's it.
I think so.
Nice closing statement.